was making fun of him. So we see that in here, he has really stuck with the feeling that what he has to do, he has no ability or no experience with that. So he is in shock with that. And mom says, I'm sorry, son, your brother will hear such things for the rest of his life. And unfortunately, I will not always be there for him. He must learn to find a way to solve it in himself. But the inside of the mother says, just tell me about it. So it's not that much easy because I know that, and the study shows that, and those people always tell that when you ask a parent who has a normal, without a disability children, when you ask them what's your most concern in your life, they will tell you that, what if my child dies? It's the worst thing that can happen in the world to a mother or a father who has a child, has a healthy child. But if you have a child with a disability and if you ask their mother what's their concern in the life, they will tell you that if I die before my child, what will he do without me? So it's the significant, like the separating point between the parenting style and the parents according to their disability or non-disability children. So it's an important point that we have to consider also. What happens when they have not disabled sibling? Okay, if someone has a disabled sibling, they will have much more stressful life in their life. They will get more sick, like the chronic sick, like the sickness, the grippe, the COVID maybe. They are having so much immune system disorders. Also, they have so much communicating problems. Also, they have so much emotional fluctuation. Like when we see these kind of people in the universities, in the classroom, maybe we see that, okay, what's happening to them? Why did they behave like that? Or this much, so much far away distance communication with others, because we have no idea what happened yesterday to their sister or brother last night. We have no idea what was restriction of their life that their parents didn't allow them to do in their life because of their sibling, because of their disabled siblings, maybe financial support, maybe life support. We don't have any idea what much care that they have get this responsibility to take care of their disabled sibling. Another one is the love-hate relationship. Sometimes those children love their disabled sibling. Sometimes they hate their disabled sibling. We have no idea how much the healthy and functional family dynamics in there that the parents solve the issues between the siblings. Actually, without having any disability, we also have communication and family dysfunctionalities in normal families. But when we have a disabled sibling in a family, it's really important to protect the balance and healthy, functional family dynamics in there. So we don't have any idea how much they get this much training in their family members to have a healthy dynamic family relationships. Even though there are the negative sides, also there are positive sides to have a disabled children, or to have a disabled sibling when you are growing up. The left side are the positive things, like those people have so much increased level of empathical skills or pro-social behaviors, like being gentle, being sensitive, or high empathic capacity, which will increase their self-efficacy actually, also their self-compassion and self-pride with themselves, because they do so much things rather than like when they equalize with their age person or friends, they will realize that how much they are maturated before their age, and they become more personal scale, personality characteristics, healthy, socially accepted, family accepted, and being a take real part in the life rather than their age persons. Also, they increase their emotional intelligence, and also they have so much high psychological resilience and cognitive, cognitive flexibility, IQ, because they learn not to look at this way. They learn to maximize their point of view. On the other hand, sometimes if they stuck in those having disabled sibling and not solving this complex in their self, they will have so much ashamed, separating families and social space, border problems, trying having difficulty to say no to other people and have a special environment for themselves. And they might have feeling isolated with everyone. They might feel stuck with their family also, that they can say you that, okay, I have a family, but I don't feel that I belong to them. Also, they feel that they have to be perfect always. They have to do something to take care of attention of their family members and the other person because they are not seen. Their psychological and social needs are not seen. So these are the positive and the negative sides of having a disabled person in the family member as a sibling or maybe parent also. Unfortunately, if they cannot solve this complex issue in their self, they might see much more emotional behavior disorder, angry issues, anger management problems, unresolved grief, or a well sibling syndrome, adjustment syndrome, anxiety disorder, eating disorder, low self-esteem, especially with the men. I like the statistics show that, especially with the men with autism and Down syndrome siblings, will have low self-esteem and intellectual disability related with the family security and emotional satisfaction. I want to mention about the good sibling syndrome. It's another one. It's a kind of the one that they are trying to show themselves that, okay, I'm also here. And also I have the all rights that I am your children and I have to take care, you have to take care of me too. It's not the thing that I don't have a disability, but it doesn't mean that I am perfect. Also, I am your children and you have to take care of me. So it's another point that I want to mention in my presentation. So how to develop a healthy managing effects? There is no one perfect thing. There is no one right answer for it, but it's really important to increase the abilities in resilience, limited relationship, like the borders with the relationship, and increasing the saying no, because it's really important to say no if you want to say no. And these people, these children are growing in an environment to say yes and accept whatever comes to their mother or their sibling to take care of it. It's not because they don't love it. Actually, they love their brother and parents. That's the issue that makes them to say more difficult to say no and be yourself, like being themselves. That's the part of it. For the illness psychology, actually, if you have grow with a sibling, with a disabled sibling, or if you learn that you have a chronic illness, it means that the same shock that you have to accept it. But until you accept it, you will become, you will complete these states. Elizabeth Kibraros is the doctor who is working especially with the people who are close to their death. So she realized that in her theory, and then it's more work on it. So we see that after shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance are the states that are more flexible. Like you can feel denial and then bargain, depression, anger, and then come to the acceptance again. So these are the states that whatever comes to people after shock, they feel they have to complete these states to adapt to the new life. What's the new life? This is the new life. We all assume a world that we will born, we will go to school, then we will find a job, we will have friends, we will get married or not, but we will have a home, and we will have our family, then we will get older, and then we will die. So this is the assumed world that all we have when we come to the world. But actually, it's not a pure reality that we experience. We all have so much things happening in the states to our life. And when we become a chronic illness, or when we have a person or a sibling in our home that blocks our life, things are happening. And after this much things are happening, it becomes more difficult for us to keep our life, keep our dreams, and keep our goals to work on them. In order to come to it without a psychiatric diagnosis, first we have to grieve. grief is really important to make it normalized. For example, yesterday I have a client that her father become lung cancer, fourth stage, and everything is done. So doctors said that, okay, we can do nothing for you. So she was really crying and she was really said that, okay, my father is at this point, but I'm really angry for him. Is it normal or not that I am so much feeling angry for him? Actually, if she thinks that it's not normal, it's a problem. It's normal. It's actually the normal stage that we feel it because we are losing our father. It's not a normal thing or expected thing that we experience. Everyone knows that we are going to die, but not now. We are not ready for it, especially for the loved ones. So actually, this is the grief thing. If we allow our physical symptoms, if we allow our emotional things, if we allow our thoughts, then it becomes normal. But if we start to keep it like it's abnormal thing to have it, abnormal thing to feel it, or think, or physical things, all of the symptoms, okay, I have a headache, I have a stomach, then it's gonna become more and more difficult for us to solve it. But if you see it normal and let it go like a flow in a water or in a sea, then it becomes more normal in time. So the time goes, yes, but the most important thing is what we do during this time. That's the grief part that we have to make it normalize it. So all the feelings that we experience are normal and it's unique. Like, for example, when you learn that your sibling having Down syndrome, or when you learn that your father become a chronic illness like a cancer, or when you learn that your mother become demence, it's actually specifically have a relationship and the process you and with the grieved person. That's all specifically for between two of them. So we have to do healthy things to keep our balance, even for become a healthy individual or become a healthy family. According to the World Health Organization, we have to do balance in our lives. We have physical part, social part, and the psychological or the mental part. How much you have the optimum level between three of them, it means how much a healthy person are you. So how much a healthy person are you means how much a healthy family you have. From these slides, you can see that it's not an easy thing or it's not a difficult thing when you have a sibling disabled or when you have a parent who have a chronic illness or you have. It's just the balance or keeping the biological, psychological, and the social parts at the optimum level. For this one, another one is it's not the disease, just we call it a healthy. If we want to be a healthy person, we have to keep our psychological part also and the social part. Like during the COVID, do you realize how much people started to have the physical things or the psychological boundaries, like the psychological disorders? It was really hard for us to adapt to this disorder rather than having it for the psychological process of it or the social change that occurred in our life. We couldn't go out, we couldn't talk with our friends, touch with them, hear their voice, or go to different places. So that really decrease our healthy being wellness. So that's the issue that we have to consider in a continuum line. So in the continuum line, the left side is the dead and the right side is the optimum wellness. And we are in the between it. So there is no end of it, but we have to work on our psychological, biological, and social well-being to become a healthy person, whatever happens to our life. Even the COVID, even the other types of the COVID, we have to keep our goals, having a healthy mind. According to the 21st century's psychological and psychotherapy approach, to have a healthy mind, we work on the cognitive therapy techniques. According to the cognitive therapy, I put a slide, but I want to explain it like a tree. Trees have the core parts under the ground, and then it has the middle part, and it has the which have like apple. Think about an apple. How much I have a healthy thought, it means how much I have healthy apples, and how much I have unhealthy thoughts that I believe are the apples that we cannot eat of them, so they are unhealthy. These are the things that just come to our life, come to our mind, that what's happening now, what's going through in my mind. What I'm thinking now is the automatic thoughts, which are the apples. Then it comes to the downstairs, like the long part of the tree. It says, okay, where is it coming from? Because I learned in my family, at the society, and the TV shows that if I have a disabled sibling, I have to give up everything. I have to take care of him. Okay, why is it coming from? Like, how is it touching yourself? What's going through in your inside is the ground part. Okay, if I don't do it, it means that I am a bad sister. I am insufficient sister. I am a worthless sister. I am a bad person that doesn't help to a sibling. So can you see the tree, that it's all coming from the ground, and there is a rule between there. If I don't do it, that will make me a bad person, an unloved person, unaccepted person, and which is going through the upstairs, like the own mind, that we are aware of it, the automatic thoughts that are going through. Okay, I have to keep it. I have to leave my school. I have to do whatever my sister wants. I have to do whatever my parent wants. In the long term, that they will love me or they won't love me. So that's the issue, that we have to work on our brain and the mind to increase our healthy thoughts, to become a healthy tree and a healthy apple to give others. If we are not healthy, if we are not having healthy thoughts, we cannot help the others. Like in the airplanes, they know we all get into the airplane and they say that, okay, first you have to get your mask and then your children mask. So first we have to take care of ourselves, like being a person in the family who have a disabled sibling or having disabled parents or have a chronic illness. First we have to wear it, and then we will help the others. So that's are the main points of my presentation. If you have any questions, I would be appreciated to answer. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is it possible that you send the presentation to Melike or to Aquilina? So
Of
we
course.
can,
Of course, I will after. Okay.
yes.